Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So our first matchup we have is Lion King that was made in 1994. We're talking the original versus Tarzan that was done in 99. And the very first thing you're thinking, no contest, right? You've got Lion King, who's the juggernaut, but I will tell you, you might be wrong. There's a couple of great things that we're gonna help you guys remember about Tarzan through this process as well. So first of all, both have live action remakes, right? Lion King was probably more family friendly. Tarzan got a little bit, I think it was PG-13, but nonetheless, what do you think is the most memorable moment in each of those movies, Ryan?
So for me, with Lion King, I really just think about the Hakuna Matata song. It's a big moment in that movie. And then for Tarzan, I'm really big into the Shoo-Wop-Dee-Doo song. And that moment where the trash in the camp. I think that's a really cool scene. Just all the different animals. So,
yeah, no, I definitely agree with Tarzan. Both of these movies are the coming of age stories. I love the fact that in Lion King you got the "I Just Cannot Wait to Be King," where they go to the elephant graveyard.
Yeah,
I mean, what kid doesn't end up in a place they shouldn't be and get saved by their parents? And now as a parent, I enjoy being that person to be able to make those the saves there. And Tarzan, I mean, you got the gorillas. I mean, the way that they interact, go back and forth, especially that little drum, the boppa shoo wop, or whatever you call it.
Shoo-Wop-Dee-Doo, bro.
There you go. So what song, if you're looking at songs, what is the most memorable song?
So definitely what we just talked about Tarzan and Shoo-Wop-Dee-Doo. I remember being in school, and by middle school it had come out on DVD. And kids in the hallways would sing that and bang on their lockers and get in trouble. And it was just a really big deal.
All right, and I think if you're going Lion King, the most memorable song has the most memorable opening line of any movie. I don't care if it's animated or not. Circle of Life. Ryan, how's it go?
Yeah, about that. I don't think anybody remembers the words of that song because it's all in like a foreign language. But everybody knows Circle of Life. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, but
it's the circle. And it goes on. Yeah.
No.
But everybody remembers that part, and then everybody goes, Sabenya! But nobody remembers any of the rest. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's the most memorable opening line.
Most iconic song with 2 lines that people remember out of like the 40 lines of that song.
So, you guys have a choice to make. Is it going to be Tarzan? Or is it going to be Lion King? I think you can't go wrong either way. I know how I voted, but I'm not going to influence you there. All right, let's take a look at 2 probably of the lesser-known movies on this list. The Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch.
This is hard, right? Because we think they're lesser-known, but for the younger crowd, they actually might be more memorable.
They could be. They could be. Yeah. So how well do you know these movies?
So, it's Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch. I remember Lilo and Stitch because I was 11 or 12 when it came into theaters. So it was pretty iconic. Princess and the Frog, I was 19 in college, and I really wasn't watching Disney movies in theaters because I was a broke college kid. What about you?
All right, so Lilo and Stitch dropped in 2002. That was while I was in college, so I really don't remember that as much. I know Princess and the Frog dropped after I've had 2 of my own personal kids, so that is something that has been seen more in my household than Lilo and Stitch. So both of these movies, though, even though they're not as well known, they had some pretty good stories. Princess and the Frog had some, I know some people dislike it a little bit because it had some voodoo themes to it. It was a little bit darker for the normal Disney movie. And then you've got Lilo and Stitch, which, I mean, has a great redemptive quality. You got this little alien that comes to Earth with this little Hawaiian girl, and he finds a way to be able to care for other people, which he didn't have beforehand.
Yeah, now I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen Princess and the Frog all the way through, so I was just rewatching it, and what I appreciate about that movie is the art style. It reminds me a lot of Lady and the Tramp. Kind of that English art style being set in New Orleans, like not modern day, but past New Orleans. I think it's a really cool art style for a movie. So I really appreciate that.
And I think, what person didn't want to open their own restaurant?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of big. Like, my family, we love to eat. We love to cook.
That's facts.
We love to, yes, that is facts. Yeah. So I appreciate that. She's looking, for her dream to open up a restaurant. Now with Lilo and Stitch, though, I think one of the things it has going for it is it also became an animated series that was pretty popular.
Yeah,
on
which
Disney
I
for a
grew
little
up
while.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of kids may not have seen the movie, but they've seen the animated series and they're familiar with those characters. So if we were going to look at like what we would suggest on our little knowledge on these movies, if we were going to go music, which direction would you go? What would you lean towards?
I would go with Princess and the Frog with like just all the cool like brass, big brass bands.
Yeah, you get a
I'm
little bit
fan
of that jazz.
sound. Yeah, I think as a kid, it would have made no difference to me because
Mm-hmm.
none of them are truly iconic compared to like your Lion King and Tarzan. But that's
All right.
my opinion.
Animation, which one would you lean towards?
Definitely Princess and the Frog. Just because it's a newer movie. Yeah, it has a newer style of animation.
All right. What about memorable character? If you had to pick a memorable character,
this is
from
why
both.
honestly I voted for Lilo and Stitch. The reason
You're
why
not supposed to tell me you voted for him.
that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is after polling, so if you voted different than me, you got it wrong. It's okay. Just kidding. Just kidding. But Stitch is just such an iconic character. I mean, could you imagine this alien that morphs and stuff being in Smash Bros?
Oh yeah.
How cool
yeah.
would that be?
Oh yeah.
But I remember growing up in like the TV show coming on, all these different aliens would show up. They have all these different abilities, and kids would be like, "Yo, I would want to be the red alien, or I'd want to be the yellow alien, or the blue one." What kid doesn't want a dog that transforms into like this alien fighter?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, and I think Princess and Frog, you got those shadow characters that are chasing people. You know, I think that was memorable in the wrong way. I know some kids had some nightmares over that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so if you had to live either in New Orleans during the time in Princess and the Frog, or in Hawaii, where would you choose to live?
Dude, Ohana. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go Hawaii, be with the family, get a cool alien dog, you know, surf, even though I have no balance. I trip over my own feet, but it'd be cool.
I don't know. I'm going for the food. New Orleans, you know,
Yeah.
get down in that deep south, that Creole. You get that shrimp gumbo. I mean, come on, man.
Okay.
You gotta go with that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our next. We're gonna move over to Pixar. We got Up, that was made in 2009, versus Brave, that was 2012. And I will tell you, both of these movies were played in my house. Both of them very memorable scenes. What is your take on these?
Yeah. Before we do that, though, let's just preface: all four of these are going to be voted on in one breeze form. All right, so that's how you're going to vote for these. But for me, so Up versus Brave. Up, I think is really iconic, and not to hate on Nicholas Sparks. Well, actually, yeah. I think Up tells a better love story in 4 minutes than any chick flick rom-com has ever done. So
That might be a truth right there.
yeah.
Now the thing about Brave, though, you got this adolescent girl who is next in line in the family, has to choose someone to marry, but it's that story of an adolescent wanting to rebel against her parents, who want to basically choose her own path, and because of that, she follows the same path that another person who earlier traveled down, and ends up turning her mother into a bear, her little brothers into a bear, which actually adds to quite some comedic scenes along the way.
Yeah, and Up, you got the old guy who's widowed, who's trying to check off something off his bucket list that his deceased wife has left for him, and then you have the kid with no father figure, and somehow they team up in this dynamic duo, kind of reluctantly, to be honest. I just think like that's really cool. I think it's a really cool story that they're setting there.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that both of these movies do really well is they both have a strong family tie and acceptance in that family, and that's throughout the whole thing, whether it's your immediate family or whether it's somebody you take in, like the little boy who was taken in by the old man and Up. Yeah. And
Squirrel!
One of the most iconic lines in any movie that I think anybody quotes with their friends or whatever, just a squirrel. Anytime you get distracted or you notice somebody else distracted, you throw that in there. Now, one of the things that I know that in Brave that the girls are going to like is it shows a girl who is super capable of doing anything that any other guy can. And I know that that is something that girls look up to, they look forward to, because what girl doesn't want to show up any guys? I've got a daughter myself who tries to show up me and her brothers all the time.
Yeah.
So one of the things, too, that I think that is underrated in Brave is that you have anticipation that's built up throughout the whole thing. There's so many close calls that keeps you on the edge of your seat and wondering if she's ever going to be able to save her mother. And I know Up Up has the same thing kind of towards the end, but it kind of builds a little bit slower. But either way, both of these movies, I think you can't go wrong with. So I know the way that I would vote. Ryan's probably pretty strong the other way, the way he would vote, but I'm telling you, two good movies, can't go wrong.
Yeah, and we've got, like I said, we've gotten like a dozen brackets in already, and it's all over the place. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one we're going to do today for the first round is Toy Story, the original Toy Story that was made in '95, versus Toy Story 2, which was done in 1999.
And so Toy Story, if you don't know, it captures the imagination in which toys owned by a boy named Andy come to life. Buzz Lightyear is introduced and seems to challenge Woody as Andy's favorite toy. I remember watching that when I was 5 in theaters.
I mean, what person doesn't want to be, the favorite, the best friend, or whatever? Yeah. Now, Toy Story 2 introduces a couple new characters. You've got Jessie and Bullseye, who actually Woody finds out after watching a TV. His arm falls off, and he has to go get it repaired. While he's there, he sees on the TV that he was a part of basically an animated series called Woody's Roundup. And he finds Jessie and Bullseye there, and he finds a bond with them that he probably didn't have with the other toys when he was at Andy's house. Yeah. And so both of them obviously are adventure rescue stories. You got one that you're trying to, everyone's trying to get Woody back from Toy Story 1, which leads Ryan to one of his favorite scenes, that all his buddies had t-shirts from this one place.
Pizza Planet. It's like CC's but better. And I remember CC's was it was just a jam back in the 90s. But everybody wanted to get.
And who can remember the claw coming down and all the aliens going?
The claw. Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. And you got Toy Story 2, where they're trying to save Woody from this evil collector and bring him back home. And so when he gets home, he actually ends up bringing Jessie and Roundup with him. So two great adventure stories. They both keep you on the edge of your seat. But I think for me, Toy Story 2 gets a little overshadowed as Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4 up the ante. The original, though, is the original. I don't think it's ever going to diminish any value, but I think Toy Story is a great franchise. All 4 movies are phenomenal, but I think the original is going to end up taking this one.
Yeah, it's probably one of the only series that has done this many movies, and they're all quality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge franchise, which is pretty cool. I love Toy Story. Just gotta remember that from my childhood, just the influence that it had. So even though Toy Story 2 graphically is much better than 1.
So your first day of voting, it's gonna include 2 of the most iconic animated films that kicked off this more modern animated. You got Lion King on one side on Disney. You got Toy Story and that franchise over here on Pixar. I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, as a 90s kid, I'm all about this.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite. Well, I guess I was a 90s kid.
You were kind of there.
Not quite. But so here's what we're going to encourage you guys to do. If you haven't seen a movie and you're up here, we're going to be talking about it. We encourage you guys. You got downtime, right? You got downtime. Your kids are at home. Get on Disney Plus. Get on some streaming devices and actually go back and watch some of these. They're pretty phenomenal films. We're going to be talking about them in the next 2 weeks, and we're looking to crown the champion. And we want to see what you guys. We want to have your input. So let us know. Get on it. Check for our LifePoint happenings. Check the Facebook page. Get on the Breeze and get on the voting. Starting this Sunday through Monday, you got 1 day to get your votes in.
Yeah. Bracket by Sunday, and then every day until April 1st, we are going to pull the winners, and we're going to update this bracket as we go through this list. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So we'll be back March 23rd, and we'll let you guys know who won the first round, and then we're gonna move on to a couple other great movies. I'm excited to see what Ryan has to say about Frozen in the next round.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
All right, guys, you guys keep watching those movies, have fun, and we'll see you on the other side.
Ohana.